What if I told you that there was a time in life when Africans, especially Ghanaians and Nigerians, traveled to Liberia just to shop?
Listen, back in the 70s, Liberia was what? Like paradise. Liberia was like heaven. Liberia was like the great United States. Ghanaian, Nigerian, every African country was traveling to Liberia to get what? Goose.
Just like today, people travel to America and Dubai for holidays and shopping. It used to be Liberia at that time.
Liberia was a haven at that time. You know, you could get everything under the sun. When we got to Liberia in 1981, they lacked nothing. So people from Ghana, you know, would come to Liberia to shop.
But right now, a viral debate is exploding online, with people claiming that Liberia was once the most developed country in Africa.
One of my favorite countries in Africa, Liberia. In the 70s, Africans from around the continent would make their vacation like they do in Dubai, in the south of France, in Switzerland, in Monaco. Africans would make Liberia their vacation spot.
So the real question is, what actually happened to Liberia? In this video, we unpack and we give you the details.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
So videos like this are going viral, with people saying that Liberia was once heaven on earth, others claiming that it was the giant of Africa before everything collapsed.
What happened in Liberia?
Liberia was a haven at that time. You know, you could get everything under the sun. When we got to Liberia in 1981, they lacked nothing. So people from Ghana, you know, would come to Liberia to shop. Now we are going to the US and Dubai and all those places. Ghanaians used to travel to Liberia to buy everything, you know. And it was like Liberia was the place to be, not Ghana. And then we stayed there for 4 years.
One of my favorite countries in Africa, Liberia. In the 70s, Africans from around the continent would make their vacation like they do in Dubai, in the south of France, in Switzerland, in Monaco. Africans would make Liberia their vacation spot. The country was so beautiful, so lovely. They called it Liberia after the word liberty, and they called it the capital Monrovia on July the 26th, 1847. For the next 150 years, Liberia was the most peaceful, most prosperous, most developed country in Africa. Remember back then when I worked as a flight attendant for Pan Am? Liberia, there was something special about that. It's an incredible journey. Very few people will ever get a chance to get the front row seat that I got to history unfolding.
Some are even comparing it to Ghana and Nigeria today.
I just dislike the fact that y'all try to play us Liberian. I really just don't like it, most especially Nigerians. Y'all think y'all is so-called so better than people. We made y'all who y'all is today. Y'all artists now coming overseas, 78% of the popularity was Liberians supporting Nigerian artists. Who made y'all who y'all are? The Nigerian movie, we supported it. Listen, back in the 70s, Liberia was what? Like paradise. Liberia was like heaven. Liberia was like the great United States. Ghanaian, Nigerian, every African country was traveling to Liberia to get what? Goose. It was like a vacation spot. Y'all stop playing us like that, bro. Like we never been African war superpower. And guess what? Until our people can realize what we lacking of love, unity, and start to support each other and get back to the king and queens that we belongs to in West Africa, and matter the entire Africa, and take advantage of our resources and stop we fight war, and stop complaining and actually take advantage and put love first for ourselves, for us to stand up to these Africans and tell them, listen, we are the African world power, and we're gonna become that. Y'all stop playing with us. Check your history back in the 70s. Liberia was like a United States to almost every African. Ghana, Nigeria. Put some respect on Liberian name, bro. Y'all stop pretending, acting like y'all don't know who the Czar is, bro. We are the leader, and we're gonna get back and own what we deserve. It will happen. It's happening already. Come on, man. We the best in Africa, and we're gonna come for that throne. Now y'all going to America and China for everything. Bro, we was the great United States in Africa. Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria. Name every African country was coming in our country for goods and civilization and vacation. Liberia was the shit, and we are going back to becoming the shit, whether you like it or not. Oh my point, Jesus Christ, and I'll call for.
But is this history or just social media hype? Well, let's go back in time. So the truth is, Liberia didn't start like just any other African countries. In fact, Liberia was founded in 1847, making it one of the oldest republics in Africa, even before Ghana gained independence. Ghana is the first country in Africa to gain independence, right? But Liberia was actually founded in 1847, so that makes it one of the oldest republics in Africa. But here's what makes it different. Liberia was actually created by free slaves from the United States. So these settlers brought American-style government, Western education, and strong ties to the US. And for years, Liberia had better infrastructure, international recognition, and economic advantages many African nations didn't have. In simple terms, Liberia had a head start because the people who came there had already established themselves from America. When slavery was abolished and they were free to go back, instead of going back to Ghana, Nigeria, they decided to live in Liberia and start their own country. And these people were westernized because by the time they came, they had copied the attitude of the Americans, their lifestyle, and they had seen development, and they wanted to reciprocate this exact same thing in Liberia. In fact, they wanted to build Liberia to be even more than America because they built America and they felt they could build Liberia more than America. But here's where things got uncomfortable. Because not everyone in Liberia benefited from that head start, the country was dominated by a small group called the Americo-Liberians, and these people controlled politics, wealth, and even power. Meanwhile, majority of the indigenous Liberians were excluded. So while the country looked stable from the outside, inside tensions were building, and eventually something had to give. Then came the movement that changed everything. In fact, in 1980, a military coup was led by Samuel Doe, who overthrew the government. And for many, it felt like justice. But what followed was chaos, political instability, corruption, fear, and then civil war struck Liberia. And this was where Liberia's story took a dark turn. From 1989 to the early 2000s, Liberia was torn apart by brutal civil wars. The economy collapsed, the infrastructure was destroyed, millions of lives were affected.
As we start serious deliberations, there would be no better indication of your trust in your fellow Liberians than making a new beginning with a call for a ceasefire. I urge you, my brothers and sisters, to demonstrate such good faith. We want to emphasize that we have no interest in seeing the Cotonou cause destroyed. We want to develop it in a meaningful way where no party is marginalized at any level.
I do not intend to leave Ghana until we have fashioned out something for our people, and I promise you that we will compromise. We will do whatever it takes to take back to our people something.
Now welcome at this program. When you are left, go down there. Just pass left. This way.
Then the same country that once seemed promising was now struggling to survive, and the world watched it fall. Meanwhile, something else was happening in West Africa. Whilst Liberia was dealing with conflict, countries like Ghana began to stabilize and grow stronger democracy, economic reforms, and even international investment. Nigeria, despite its challenges, also became a major economic force. So that was when the narrative shifted from Liberia is ahead to Liberia is catching up. So was Liberia really the greatest? Here's the honest answer. Liberia was not the richest or the most powerful country in Africa, but it was once one of the most promising and strategically positioned nations on the continent because it had early independence, global connections, and real potential. And that's why this story still shocks people today. So when you hear people say that Liberia used to be the greatest in Africa, it may not be entirely accurate, but it's not completely wrong either. The real story is more complex and more important because it reminds us how fast a nation's story can change. So do you think Liberia would have been one of the top countries in Africa today if history had gone differently? What do you think? And did I even leave any of the history out? Did I miss anything? If I did, leave it in the comment section. We'll catch up in the next video. It's a wrap for today.